Now, the DA is holding a special federal executive meeting this weekend. Some in the party are said to be disagreeing over who should interview MP and MPL candidates. Some senior DA leaders don't want provincial leaders included in that selection panel. They argue this would give them powers beyond their positions. eNCA Samkele Maseko is in Bruma, where that meeting is supposed to be taking place in Johannesburg. Samkele, thanks for joining us. Now, another week, another internal battle in the DA. Why is this particular rule such a sticking point at the moment?
Well, Marcel, what we can say is that the DA politics are becoming more and more interesting by the day, and they are becoming more or less outdrawn to the public domain with these intra-party battles ongoing. You've got 34 senior DA MPs and MPLs, which includes the Deputy Federal Executive Chairperson, Natasha Mazzoni, the Chief Whip in the National Assembly, John Steenhuisen, and Western Cape leader Bonginkosi Madiezela, who form part of those 34 MPs and MPLs, who've written to the party to say that this patronage amendment that they say will include provincial leaders to sit in on the selection panel for MPs and MPLs will create a patronage network where those who are deployed to these legislatures will feel indebted to these DA provincial leaders, and then that will thus create a patronage network in the DA which they don't want, which will include people being deployed to the legislature and to the National Assembly on the virtue that they owe their allegiance to the provincial leaders of the DA. They're basically saying that these DA leaders in provinces will have powers that they do not deserve, and which will basically create a patronage network in the DA, which they allege is already ongoing in parties such as the Economic Freedom Fighters and the ANC. This meeting here at the DA's new headquarters at Nkululeko House in Bruma started at 6 o'clock this morning with the DA FedEx meeting this morning. That meeting chaired by DA leader Musi Maimane. Later on, once the FedEx is done, the DA Council will then meet to further deliberate on this issue of whether provincial leaders should indeed sit in on these selection panel meetings or interviews where potential DA MPs and MPLs will be chosen.
Now, Federal Executive James himself is said to be the person who put forward this proposal, but leaders like Chief Whip John Steenhuisen are amongst those who are opposed to this. Is this just another front for the ongoing leadership battle within the party?
Yes, it is another front for the ongoing leadership battle in the party. We've heard through the grapevine that there may be a motion of no confidence against the DA's Federal Executive Chairperson, James Self. Here today, when the Federal Council meets, we are yet to get any official comment from the DA's Deputy Federal Chairperson, Natasha Mazzoni, who these days speaks on behalf of the party as well. So we'll be hoping to speak to Natasha Mazzoni once the DA's Federal Executive is done, just before the Federal Council meeting starts. We've seen a number of deployees to the Federal Council coming in and trickling into Nkululeko House, where this all-important meeting will be taking place. But it does seem like the DA is seemingly at loggerheads with one another when it comes to the issue of the selection panel for its deployees towards the 2019 general elections. Who would have thought that such an event would take place in the Democratic Alliance, if they've become synonymous of having a clean selection panel over the years for their MPs and MPLs. But it seems as if, in the words of Athol Trollip, when I spoke to him a week before the DA's elective conference, he said that as you grow, you must be cautious and be very careful that you don't just grow and become this big, clumsy organization. But it does seem like the DA is going through factional battles of its own, like we've seen at President Street, at Johannesburg, at Luthuli House over the years, particularly going to their 54th National Conference. It seems as if the ANC may be getting its house in order, but trouble has now rocked Nkululeko House in the form of the Democratic Alliance, where Musi Maimane's leadership is being tested at all corners and every front and every opportunity that presents itself.